And our next speaker is Rob MacCallum. And Rob MacCallum, big hand of applause here. He's running for the school board, and we need this guy in there. Absolutely, where are you?
Thank you.
My
All right.
pleasure.
So I'll be brief because the school board is boring. Nothing really ever happens in the school board, right? So there's not much news to talk about.
Peggy Jones votes against.
Did that happen?
It happened.
Oh, it did.
Monday.
Just kidding, I know that. So right now we have, so I just left my daughter's graduation. She just graduated from preschool, so thank you very much. It's a big feat if you know my daughter. She's great. She's an energetic girl. She's full of life. And the reason why I'm running, and my wife and I decided for me to get into this run in this race is because I am scared of what the future looks like for my kids in the school system. So I am not one that sits back, relaxes, and is like, oh, we'll just see what happens and someone else will take care of it. I've always been someone that will step up and take charge and go forward to see what I can do to make things better. So I run things honestly, I run things with ethics, and I have a really strong foundation of good moral support behind me. So that's really what got me into the race. I know I can help, and I know I can be a service to our community moving forward. Some things that we have going on. Right now, the students kind of run things. So if you look at what we have going on in our alternative school, which is Indian River Prep, or any of the, especially in the high school ages, we have a lot of issues with discipline. We have a ton of issues with bullying. We have a ton of issues with vaping, and we're not hearing anything about it. We're not hearing what they're doing to fix it. We're not hearing what steps they're taking. All we're hearing is finger pointing, and all we're seeing is not my fault, it's their fault. It's not the administration's fault, it's the teacher's fault not reporting it. It's not the administration's not reporting it to the superintendent's office. Where's the accountability? Where is it? It's my fault. Okay, I'm on the school board. I'm not setting proper procedures or policies. They're not following those policies. I don't ever hear, I'm going to take control, I'm going to take responsibility, and I'm going to fix it. That's what I bring to the table. I will fix it. I stand up, I look for solutions. I'm a business guy. I'm someone that has built 2 businesses from the ground up, and still every day, if you've ever done that, you know every day you're still building, because it's one day from falling. So you got to keep that mindset, you got to keep that opportunity, you got to keep that stepping forward mentality instead of the blame game and stepping backwards. A couple of things with people who maybe haven't heard me speak before. We have a 60% literacy rate in our school systems. We have similar math, I think it's around 62% of our math scores, but we have a 95% graduation rate.
Wow. Did not know that.
Yeah. What are we graduating? Are we graduating students that are ready to take on the world? Are we graduating students that are ready to go to the next steps? Are we graduating students that our community can be proud of to say they graduated from Sebastian, Vero Beach, Fellsmere, they graduated from Indian River County, and they're doing great in the world? I don't think we can say that just yet. And I think we need to take a look at it. Don't get me wrong, there are some fantastic students doing some fantastic things. We need to make sure that we're recognizing that as well. My cousins both graduated from, one graduated from St. Ed's, one graduated from Vero Beach High School. One's a cardiac surgeon in North Carolina. The other one is building prosthetic limbs. I know what Vero Beach can produce. Those are the students I want to see excel. But when we're doing things like focusing on the little social issues that only affect small percentages of students, but don't address the larger concerns or the majority of our community or anything along those lines, we're then doing a disservice to those that are really trying to push their academic career forward. So for me, that's what we really have to look at. We have to look at what's affecting the majority of our students. How can we push our advanced students into new levels, because we don't have too many programs for them. How can we help our students that are on that fence of being advanced go to that side of things rather than regress? And we need to look at all those processes. So accountability is number one. Let's see. but I would like to implement simple leadership tactics. So a lot of things I hear with teachers is that they're micromanaged, that they don't have the support from the administration, they don't have the support from the students, and they don't have the support from the parents. So a lot of that is a communication breakdown, in my opinion. After talking to several of them, I've sponsored some lunches, and I've sponsored some after-hours events for our teachers, just to say thank you for all that they do. And a lot of them talk about the communication breakdown. So they'll say one thing, and I'm like, oh, where'd you hear that? Oh, another teacher told me. Okay, your administrator didn't tell you that this is the problem, or this student moved to this school for this reason, here's what's going on, and why what's happening. So it's a big communication thing. Another thing, as I said, is they look for ways to see what a teacher's doing wrong instead of praising them and saying, hey, you're doing a great job. Let's focus on this. Let's see how we can maybe improve in this section of the classroom or this testing score or whatever it has. But they're always looking for things to kind of point and say, you're doing this wrong. You need to do better. Your compensation is going to be affected, or, something more. So we really have to look at the practices of actually being a leadership and running it more as a business, but an empathetic business, not a bottom line based business. So I could go on forever because I do feel like after going through this process now, I'm becoming a politician, so I could talk for about 14 hours straight. So I would like to open up for questions. I will definitely be behind because I was a little bit late today, as I said, for my daughter's graduation. But I would love to discuss anything, answer any questions. Oh, the one thing that I started with, sorry, I meant to go back to it, but what just happened is Jackie Rosario brought up Title IX is being challenged by the Biden administration. And he's basically trying to re-identify a lot of different things. But the main thing, he's trying to re-identify what gender is. And so that basically is going to open it up for a lot of issues when, someone who doesn't want to identify as a male, wants to identify as a female, can play sports and have access to the Title IX protections that our female athletes have worked so hard to get their sports to where they are.
Access to their bathrooms.
And access to their bathrooms. So those are things that it seems like common sense, and everyone says you can't. If I have a one-on-one conversation, I've never had anyone say, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle they're on, I've never had anyone say, oh yeah, that's appropriate to have a male and a female locker room. But yeah, here we are talking about it. So my issue is, the vote was 4-1 to take a stand because Governor DeSantis did put a lawsuit out there, and so that stopped the implementation of this, at least for now. But Indian River County wanted to put something out there to say we stand with Governor DeSantis and we are not for making any changes. Well, that vote got voted and accepted 4-1. The one vote that said nay was my opponent. So this is what we have to look for. This is what I'm up against. And this is where my conservative values, I would like to see. I can tell you what, I will fight really hard if I find out that there is a male that's allowed to be in a locker room with my daughter.
Amen.
That's just not okay. We have to just stop and get to common sense practices. Where are my daughter's rights in that scenario? Where are our female athletes' rights in that scenario? And I just think that we're not thinking of all of the problems that it's going to cause on the other side. And we're not thinking of the people who were born that way and are there because that's what their biological sex is. We have to not start thinking those ways and not, and they'll even admit I think the stat is it's 5 out of every 100,000 males has gender dysphoria, and 4 out of every 100,000 females has gender dysphoria. That's the stat that was actually brought up at the meeting. I haven't verified that, but that's such a minute number. Why are we spending so much time trying to put those protections in place? So that's my stance on that. Any questions? Yes.
If Proposition 5 passes, is the school board possibly going to think about instituting random drug testing on the teachers and the students?
So I'm not on the school board yet.
No.
Are you asking my opinion on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that. I haven't thought of that. A random drug test. I think when you're going for like athletics, I think that's easier to sell because now you've got a competitive advantage or disadvantage with certain drugs. But when you're randomly drug testing people, you're talking about all sorts of drugs.
Yeah, well, the truck drivers have to do it.
Right. I mean, you're kind of going into a realm of, I don't know. I mean that's a tough question that I have not had and I haven't even talked about. So I don't know where I stand on random drug tests for teachers, especially. I think we've had a lot of micromanagement of try gotcha moments with them. I think right now adding something like that to the issues with our whole school system as a whole, I don't know would be appropriate. Our kids, however, I wouldn't be opposed to doing that as long as we got parental consent. And if the parents and the majority of our parents of the students would consent to that, I would do that. I would have no problems with it. But I think the drug testing of kids has to start at the house, and they have to have those conversations first before we as a school system step in and say, hey, listen, we're going to overstep our bounds and implement this on your child. So, I mean, but as far as a business practice for teachers, I don't know if I'm necessarily for a random drug test of our employees, unless it's a problem.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir?
What's the feeling of Mothers for Liberty group organization?
Say that again?
Liberty for Mom.
What? Moms for Liberty?
What was your question?
Moms for Liberty.
Yeah, what about them?
What is your feeling about the women that are, that's their organization?
Yeah, so I mean, they're concerned parents. That's how they started. There's a cause that drove them to come about. So I'm in support of Moms for Liberty for what they're about. And the issues that they brought forward is about being a concerned parent. We've been talking about getting parental involvement since I was in school.
Well, there seems to be a lot of controversy with some of the board members about the fact that they're trying to remove certain books that obviously shouldn't be in the library.
Right.
They're saying that it's First Amendment rights to being able to have that in the libraries.
Mhm.
And I don't see anybody in the community, county commissioners or the press or anything else supporting them or getting behind them. And I was just wondering what your
You're
feeling
gonna get me in trouble up here.
is.
Yes, no, I'm 100% against getting having pornography in our school systems, and that's what Moms for Liberty is for me. And when I talk to even the funny thing is the miscommunication that's out there. So whenever I bring it up or someone brings it up to me and asks the question, they always come up with a book like Catcher in the Rye or something. I ask them, what book are you worried about? And that's usually the one that they say.
But you're
Like,
supporting that.
I'm supporting getting pornography out of our school systems, and that's
Yes.
what Moms for Liberty. What's your question?
That's what I'm asking.
Oh yeah,
Are you
I said
supporting
that.
their organization, what they're attempting to try to do? Because
Absolutely.
there's a lot of controversy between different members of the school. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'm in full support of what they're doing. Yeah.
As a former teacher and administrator from the New York City area, okay, I can offer a suggestion with regard to behavior and so forth. Number one, curriculum is of major importance with regard to identifying strengths and weaknesses of your students or our students in order to provide the proper education for them, along with a behavior modification program in order to alleviate the kind of behavior we have in the chaos. And part of the chaos, of course, we know is because of the current situation that we are facing. So these are some of the very important areas. I also served on a congressional advisory committee under Congressman Gilman for education. And these are some of the things that are really important with regard to our education. Identifying and offering the proper curriculum.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, this curriculum is the base of what they're learning and engaging. I like the fact that we provide choice for schools because there's different learning styles. There's different things that are out there for everyone. Now they're trying to bring a classical school here. That's a public school version, and I think that's a great, we're now in the day and age that public schools are competing. I mean, we've got more schools here, now that are popping up on the church schools and everything, so, but I'm getting to the hook, so.
Along with other school boards, and right here in River County, Peggy Jones voted not to, she voted for these transgenders to be in there swimming, wrestling, knocking them down in the basketball courts, or whatever, and to be in the bathroom with them. So remember that, and remember Rob's name, okay?